Welcome back to the Best Ball Happy Hour here for football. As always, I'm your host, John Daigle, with the original trio back together once again. First up, Fantasy Life's own Ian Harditz. Ian, how are you doing?
Great day, be great. Johnny, sorry for my absence here a bit, but life, throws you some curveballs sometimes. Love being back on with you fellas. And yeah, I love that I can still be gone for a while and then come back and still get that second spot treatment over Hayden with the intro. So love that.
Over the last month, I think Hayden has actually made more appearances than me, as the past 2 weeks I've been busy as well. He, of course, is Hayden Winks. And Hayden, aren't you supposed to be in New York at this time? Or is that this weekend?
That is next weekend.
Next weekend.
I'm assuming Josh Norris's wedding. Yes.
Yeah.
Next weekend.
That's what I meant. So yes, of course, Josh Norris getting married next weekend. Big deal. Ooh. That's why I figured you would be there already, but that's exciting. Nonetheless, we're all back and we are going to draft a Best Ball Mania team together. So let me go ahead and get this situated. Let's pull this up. I know all of us, Hayden, you've already done some extensive work on draft strategy. Ian, you've been drafting at Fantasy Life with a ton of different guests. And I have tinkered around.
When are you hitting yes?
With our rankings. Hold on, I'm working on this. It's been a little bit.
Oh, he's got to refill the. Oh, no, you're good.
No, you're good. All right, here we go. 30 seconds pick. 3, 2, 1.
Everyone knows there's a second click. Oh, you got them both running after. All right, we're good.
Please tell me you're in the same lobby this time.
Yeah, we're good. We got
it. Okay, good.
with the Poodle live, it actually takes a second for these BBM 4 drafts to actually fill. So ooh. I liked our odds.
I was about to say I started a stream earlier with Chris Allen, and we had a good 5-6 minute lull where had to fill the empty space with something, guys. You always expect to have these streams handed to you. Had some adversity today.
Yeah, and it is pretty wild because we're still pacing so well, like compared to last year. But like, there's such a big difference when we have like a puppy or poodle versus just BBM raw.
I still can't believe the first one filled that quickly. I need to get into some of these others too, like the Dalmatian and the Bulldog.
Yeah, those
slow drafts.
Yeah, those are slows, but those are nice because everyone loves the single entry 3 max, 10 max, 5 max. Like everyone likes the smaller maxes.
That's true.
I've also been trying to do more live personally this year. Last year, I only did slow. And once Leone had that study that really it doesn't even matter, I was like, okay, let me just try something different this year. So I'll wake up and I'll do some drafts like by myself just to give it a test.
Yeah, I think the advantage of the slows is like if there are a poodle or a puppy or something like that, if you get into a couple slow drafts, while everyone else is entering the fast draft during that time window, you can kind of have an extra couple weeks to pick up some value if news changes. But it really doesn't matter all that much. Your strategies, if you're picking the right players, all that stuff's most important.
Well, it's also with slows too. I know you have a long period you have your 8 hours to make the pick, but we know how it goes, guys. It might be Saturday, early AM, probably shouldn't have had as many drinks. And then all of a sudden you're like, oh, I'm up. Like, hell yeah, I'll take this guy, 15 picks past ADP. So cycle out, figure out those 45 minutes that you're actually willing to do it, man. And just get after it. I haven't done a slow draft in best ball in like 3 years.
I had a kind of a troll idea of what if there was a multi-table tournament where once you enter, immediately pops up 3 draft boards with the same 12 people. That way you can get 3 drafts in the same 45 minutes, but everyone is still dealing with the same constraints of that everyone's drafting with 3 draft boards up at once. At least it would get a couple drafts knocked out in the same 45 minutes.
Not a troll idea, just something unique, something different.
Like you have to do multiple of them. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I like it.
And what have you been seeing lately during your draft? Something you keep exploiting or just leaning on over and over again?
It's the wide receiver dead zone, man. I think once you get past like Quentin Johnston and Jahan Dotson, like I'm fine eating those guys up, but I try to have 5 or 6 receivers by about that point because literally right when the wide receivers fall off, like we're talking wide receiver 4s, wide receiver 5s. Could they work out? Sure, but we can talk our case about everything.
I will do robust receiver, but again, it's like 9 receivers with that hunk of garbage you're talking about, like beyond round 8.
I don't even think it's that much further away from it.
It's I mean, ideally, like I do want my 4 receivers by round 7 or 8. And I will stick with 6 or 7 receivers sometimes if I'm taking them early in ADP. But for the most part, yeah, I mean, it's just, as you mentioned, it just gets ugly. It just gets so ugly so early.
I even think where the wide receiver 2s are being drafted feels rich versus the running backs there. So, like, I don't know what to call, like, Jalen Waddle, T. Higgins, but to me, their projections versus the running backs in that tier makes me a little antsy as well. So I'm with both of you guys. I'm liking the wide receiver 3s and the wide receiver 4s a lot at cost right now. That's like your Jordan Addison types, your Deontay Johnson in a bounce back. That whole tier, I'm double dipping, triple dipping throughout there because I'm with you guys. Once you get to like round 10, the wide receivers get really ugly. And I'm not sure if I love the round 2, 3 price tags on some of these wide receivers too. So I have a fast rule. You have to have at least 4 decent wide receivers. You can kind of change your definition of that. But if you don't have 3 to 4 good ones, you're basically punting it. And I don't think that's a viable strategy.
I do think Hayden's on something though with that wide receiver 2 range. Like I have usually gotten at least one running back inside the first 3 or 4 rounds. I mean, even like Jahmyr Gibbs, being able to get him, sometimes in the middle of the 4th has been pretty good. So before that, it's usually like one of usually Pollard still or Josh Jacobs. Sometimes Saquon falls into that, early spot in round 3, scoop that up and then just keep on going. Where do you guys fall on like, I feel like Pat Crane did some nice stuff on this, and I've heard it, I think from Justin Herzig as well, just about like the upside tight ends and the idea that like, Kittle, Pitts, Goddard, Hawkinson, they do kind of fall in a decent range where I think they're longer tiers of running backs and wide receivers there. And like, we aren't going to find them later. I understand they're probably not going to be Kelsey, but hey, why not?
So the research I've done with it is that there's this narrative that like tight ends separate from the field more than other positions. And I don't think the math backs that up. Like, of course, if Travis Kelsey has like a 35-point game, then yeah, but that just basically never happens even for Travis Kelsey. And like a lot of the times, like George Kittle's good games, like at 22 points, something like that. In the same week, like Gerald Everett, someone can have 17, 18 points. And really the games that are hardest to make up is like Cooper Kupp getting like 38 or something like that. Because you have to start so many wide receivers and a flex spot that gap is kind of more underrated than what people are giving credit for because they're comparing it to the tight end 12. But like the flex, like the wider, look up like the wide receiver 39 on a week. It's not very fun. And that's basically who you're replacing with the Cooper Kupp massive game.
The study shows that tight end separates itself or just Travis Kelsey?
Well, I haven't seen any evidence that that's the case. To me, it's like easier to like when we're doing rankings that Travis Kelsey is going to project better than the tight end 12 for that exact week. But in best ball, since you're picking the best one, I think there's a bigger advantage for like Travis Kelsey in a redraft versus in best ball. And I think people underestimate how often someone like a Dalton Schultz or Darren Waller's breakout season where we do get some tight end 2-3s, David Njoku last year, Evan Ingram, who can kind of close that gap. And I don't think that when Cooper Kupp goes off, nobody in rounds 14, 15, 16, 17 at wide receiver are going to come close to those massive Cooper Kupp games.
Yeah, that makes sense to me. As Ian draws 103 here, you bastard. I got stuck at 110.
I hate being between like 6 and 10.
I just moved Cooper Kupp to 3rd overall. So I have it Jefferson, Chase, and then Cooper Kupp. He's just been so dominant, and the Rams defense is significantly worse. And obviously Matthew Stafford and Kupp have some injury concerns, but dude, they could pass the ball at insane levels. And McVay historically has been like top 3 neutral pass rate and neutral pace. Like Cooper Kupp can just do his targets might start with the 2 this year. That it might be unpredictable how good he's gonna be.
You talked me into it, Hayden.
Just look up anytime Sean McVay needs to pass the ball, it is like on the clock, go, pass. And like it's Van Jefferson behind him right now. So it's time to boogie.
Wow, shots fired at 2-2 Atwell.
That's Hayden, all of that is exactly. I just started my best ball tiers on the site, and that's what I put under Matthew Stafford, who I do have ranked as the QB 19. Last year, Sean McVay's offense was his first one to average less than 62 plays per game. They averaged 58. First offense to average less than a 60% pass rate in neutral game script. They average 58%. And then 71% of the team's defensive players are rookies right now. Like, it's a disaster.
Jeez.
Yeah, it's 58% of their entire roster are rookies. Like, they have nothing.
It's going to be like the old Stafford Lions days when that defense was trash and Stafford was just slinging it in. Obviously, he has to stay healthy, but that offensive line wasn't good. And he would put up some big numbers. And I think Calvin Johnson might have had some good seasons, if I recall.
A few.
So, yeah.
Golden Tate, too, man. He was enabling multiple guys out there.
Mm-hmm.
I also will be using the curated underdog rankings that I have, that I'm the one who kind of separates them. And I always like drafting with them and then going and taking notes because there's always something I screw up. Or the ADP moves so quick, I need to adjust something. So that's why this ADP is off right here.
What I did with my rankings is I did my rankings as I would if ADP didn't exist. And then I put a cap where my rankings I only can rank a player 6 spots ahead of their actual ADP. That way I can actually kind of use this. So I just put like a 6-person cap, and that's all I'm doing right now.
I know it's smart and right, and it's good job, Hayden, but I do think it's like Joe Mixon right now. Like, he should be once week 1 comes around, he's going to be ranked in the top 10, but it's just all the rankings. We just want to consistently try to stay ahead 3 spots, like, just to, be smart about it, because you don't want to draft the guy in round 2 and you can get him in round 5 or 6. So that's why I started off with saying, like, I get that, but I get annoyed now that I'm having these like debates about players or people, and then it's like, well, I just want to put him like close to ADP.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. And that's why I wanted to do my rankings separately from ADP. But to me, it's just like, if I can get Mixon in the 5th round, then I just want to still be doing that right now.
Yep.
I agree. I still like to, in my rankings though, have players like a round or 2 above ADP.
Who's your list, Daigle? You tweeted out a list of that pretty recently.
Of players above ADP?
No, you said below ADP, that you're just like, do not draft these.
Oh, below ADP. Yeah. So I like to have those kind of lists going. That way it can at least highlight, hey, this guy's on your radar. Like right now, Deontay Johnson, I think he's probably going to pop round or 2 early in my rankings, but it's just for everyone to take notice. Let's see here. Let me see this list I had where I pushed down. And some wasn't even, some were egregious pushing, but some were not. Cole Kmet, I have egregiously pushed down, because screw that.
Agreed.
Odell Beckham.
Only if I have Fields.
Yeah, but even then, like, if we're also adding Robert Tonyan to this, and Cole Kmet was 21st in targets among tight ends last year, he just happened to have that 4 touchdown scoring week. Or
I don't want to be made out to be a Cole.
3 weeks.
I don't want to be made out to be a Cole Kmet guy in this conversation. I will say, Nicky Chubb, let's do it. I will say, just if there was going to be someone like that's just on the field all the fucking time, he played over 90% of the snaps in like 13 or 14 games. Tonyan only got like 1.1 million. He scored 11 touchdowns in his own offense. Wouldn't even give him a full-time role. So I just think there is a chance we look up, and if Fields does make a leap as a passer, which, my God, how, they just had the fewest passing yards since the 2011 Jaguars. So hopefully a little more to go around there. He is still a little bit young. I don't think it's like egregious, but again, I'm not drafting a ton of them. If I have Fields, maybe I'll get him then, but that's about it. Because the other stacking
he's also sorry. Well, I just want to say, like, it's also not egregious because Cole Kmet's being drafted in a spot where it's fine. Like, it's actually more egregious to reach for DJ Moore, because then there's a big argument there that the volume isn't there for a player like in the 4th or 5th round, like Moore's going.
Yeah, I think DJ Moore is going to be a 5th round pick, and then I'd be fine stacking him with Fields. But I think in August, I think we'll be able to get that price. So I'm just going to be holding out for now.
So yeah, Cole Kmet, even though I'm down on ADP, totally fine, since you're not hurting your team and adding him.
So I think real quick what Parker's going to do here with Mark Andrews, and something that we're going to have to start doing, is stacking the Ravens in round 2, 3, because they both have ADPs in the middle of round 3. So he has to reach well ahead of ADP to get Lamar Jackson, but now he at least has Mark Andrews stacked up. Right now, both of them go in the 3rd round. So I think Lamar Jackson is going to end up being a fringe 2nd round pick. And this is actually one of the drafts where the elite quarterbacks are staying in the early parts of the 2nd round. I can see them dropping and it all of a sudden becoming like a top 4 with Lamar Jackson included with those top 3 fantasy quarterbacks.
As it should.
I agree.
I almost got a little Ramondre past ADP too. Let's see. I think
As
we
so-
are just going to knock.
As someone who was considering Ty Montgomery into the equation last year, and like it was seeing him actually work ahead of Ramondre week 1 on pass downs, but like I have a really hard time like making that my reason not to take the guy. Like Ramondre is pretty freaking damn good, man. And again, if we're getting him at this price, like look at the other guys he's going around. Like I don't think there's any chance like Ty Montgomery, Jalen Warren's like Najee Harris or anything. Come the fuck on.
Yeah, no way. I just did a bold predictions column, and my last one was Ramondre as the RB1 overall.
Ooh,
That
I mean,
is
that's
quite
hot.
spicy.
just skill set wise, size wise, I think that offense is going to take a leap. And like you said, I just don't believe in Pierre Strong or any of these other guys. I think Pierre Strong will end up being the number 2, and Hulk is going to be a change of pace back. And I just see the Patriots like being an average offense this year. And I think a lot of that would just go straight to Ramondre's belly.
All right. And I'm going to have to take a receiver here since I only have 1 through 3 rounds.
God damn it with this Mike Williams back thing.
Yeah, what the hell? There's like no clarity with it.
I wrote an article on this in like March, and I went and checked and see what I wrote. Mike Williams, like they listed him as questionable for that damn wild card game against the Jaguars, and you're telling me this is still a problem 5 months later, basically. So, Staley said earlier in the offseason that he wasn't sure if he was going to have to get back surgery or not. It's just like, how is this still so uncertain?
Yeah, man, it's actually kind of scaring me. I really want to be high on Mike Williams because I think that offense is going to rebound.
Yeah, I've drafted a lot of them.
Yeah, so have I. It's like I checked, it's like 30% now, and then that blurb came out, and I was like, oh no. So yeah, I'm not sure what to do. I think it's just getting me to draft more Keenan Allen.
Yeah, which is good.
Which is easy right now because Keenan Allen is a player who continues dropping.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, basically any player over 30 is probably undervalued on Underdog at this point. It's all priced in, I would say. Fair enough.
Keenan Allen is going the opposite direction of Christian Watson, who I got here just 1 spot ahead of ADP, but he's another player who continues surging up the board right now.
I like drafting him when I'm in a pinch because Jordan Love, and I'm a Luke Musgrave guy late in the draft. He's just easy to stack them up as like your secondary stack later on.
Round 18 Musgrave. I think the similar sentiment is there with the Chargers. If you're able to get Herbert and one of his receivers at the turn, and then Gerald Everett's so cheap late. And then also we got Patrick and Mims and those Broncos guys. Little week 17 run back, kids.
Don't forget Adam Troutman and Marquez Callaway. Do not let them go unheralded.
Does Hayden leave every time someone says week 17? Is that the bit? Because I like it. Oh, fuck. I'm on the clock. That's why
I thought you were thinking.
Anything. No, I'm just clowning. Oh, we'll get Herbert in there. Fuck it. All right. I got Herbie, Keenan, Kupp, Chubb, and Jacobs. Show me.
Solid.
Someone bring me my money.
That's a really good one so far.
Good.
That is there's a bigger study to discuss with the top 3 quarterbacks going inside the top 20. I don't even do it often. I think I'm actually closer to fading the top 3 quarterbacks, even though I don't want to every single time. Like I want to at least get a little bit of exposure. But like when you take AJ Brown at the end, it is just kind of like, oh, Jalen Hurts is at ADP right here. So I'm kind of forced to do it.
Yeah, the Josh Allen with Steph Diggs, AJ Brown, Jalen Hurts, Mahomes, Kelsey, it just lines up so perfectly. So I'm curious to see if the ADP is going to swing where like half the AJ Brown teams are not going to do it, or half the Josh Allen teams are not going to be paired up with Steph Diggs. But that's going to be kind of like the thing I'm monitoring when you're talking about just like ownership and the combined ownership between teams. I think it's going to be pretty interesting, at least.
Dude.
By the way, it's not as spicy as Ramondre RB1. Like that is a good hot take, but Justin Herbert leading the league in passing yards. Like I feel like people are this time last year, man, a lot higher on him. Keenan and Mike were borderline first, like wide receiver 12 line. Now they're closer to wide receiver 24 line. Like they were just hurt for last year. Like that's what happened. And yeah, they could get hurt again, but big time discount there. The Quentin Johnston, just where he's going is perfect, and usually can't get one of Keenan or Mike. So if one of them do get hurt and you just kind of pair it up right, you're going to be in business. And with Justin Herbert sitting there, like how far let's see where he went compared to Burrow in this one. Like Burrow went 42. I got Herbert at 51. Like, I just don't think there should be that big of a gap.
Yeah, it's very similar bets to me on between those two. So yeah, I'm with you. I was looking back, I did a spike week study, and in 2021, Justin Herbert had as many like 25 or 30 point, whatever my threshold was, games as the elite ones. And like he didn't have any last year, and it was a really bad season. We should count that. But
he couldn't even run last year, though. I think that's why he probably didn't.
And yeah, his left tackle was out for the entire year. One of the best left tackles in the game. Their wide receiver 3 and wide receiver 4 spots are better than they were. And Austin Eckler, I mean, he's not going to score 18 touchdowns again this season. So if that goes to 13 and then add another 5 to Herbie, then all of a sudden we're cooking.
Only 23% of Herbert's dropbacks came with Allen and Mike Williams on the field last year. And on those dropbacks, he led the league in completion rate, 77%.
There we go. Nice
and like,
Johnny.
I know everyone thinks like, oh, Quentin Johnston's added, or not everyone, because I know y'all know the type of player Quentin Johnston is. Everyone thinks, oh, like more like a higher ADOT, more downfield. Like, no, Johnston makes so much sense because the ADOT could stay the same, but we have an explosive player like little Deebo Samuel for yards after the catch. So that's why I like Johnston to this offense.
Hey, I think it's even simpler. Like, this is like that, the meme where you got Daigle with like the smart point. I'll be the dumb one. Like, it's just one of Herbert's top 3 wide receivers. Like, all right.
In this case, Hayden, go ahead and black your camera out because since I have Christian Watson, I'm going Jordan Addison.
I have no issue with Jordan Addison. I'm a USC guy. It comes USC first, then week 17 correlation second, baby.
And I have Addison in the same tier as all these guys. They're all jumbled up. So otherwise, I would probably have taken Lockett instead. That like again, week 17. That Pittsburgh Seattle game is one I'm kind of targeting. There you go.
I like this. I like the Steelers offense right now for where they're going in drafts.
I don't think I'm even targeting those games. It's just a matter of if it's a straight tier tiebreaker with the top dogs I've already drafted. It's like, all right, I guess.
Yep, that's how it should be.
This also is my big picture argument about Kyle Pitts. When people say you should stray from the pack in the 6th round range for Kyle Pitts, it's like, well, if Josh Jacobs and Nick Chubb and all these guys are being backed into the 3rd round, and we know we should have like 4 wide receivers by round 7, Kyle Pitts just kind of gets in the way. Like, actually, I don't want any of them because he doesn't fit the draft structure.
Yeah, when I did my tight end rankings, I made it to like 37, and I was like still like felt like that these guys can have 10-point games, no problem. So yeah, I just never really believed that the tight ends are going to make a massive difference versus the running backs. So I'm with you, Daigle. I'm having good wide receivers no matter what. And I think right now I would rather have elite quarterbacks than elite tight ends.
I think you've said it best. Like if Kelsey stumbles, that's not a reason to draft T.J. Hawkinson. It's a reason to then wait on tight end because the rest of the field catches up to him.
Yep.
Although, and I know all studies show something different. Man, I keep researching into 4 tight ends, like waiting to the last 4 rounds. Gosh, I still kind of like the idea.
TJ just tweeted out that that's been successful every single year on Best Ball Mania 4.
Oh, let's go. So
Yeah.
I did it one time to Daigle's point. I kind of liked it. I think I was streaming with Dwayne. He was just
Literally
like,
last 4 rounds.
I think he went too far with that. Okay, I like that.
Yeah, I've been doing like a lot of Schultz as my tight end 1 and then round 17, 18, and then sticking with 3. But I have been greasy enough to go around just the last 3 picks of tight end and calling it a day. So
it's offensive to ever mention Njoku in the same sentence as Dalton Schultz. But like if you're talking about a kind of player, if you're talking about the kind of player whose target tree is wide open and like could potentially lead their team in targets, it's like the same excuse I used for Njoku last year. I'm going to be doing it for Schultz again. And it's not fun to take like Schultz over Dalton Kincaid. Thankfully, everyone has pushed Dalton Kincaid very high up the board, so I don't have to worry about it. And Schultz continues falling. But like, of course, Schultz can get more targets than Kincaid. Of course,
you're a Cowboys fan, though. You know how fucking mid Schultz is. Come on,
mid athletically, but he still earned targets.
I don't know.
The good news there for Schultz, though, I agree he is pretty mid. Is the rest of the guys CJ Stroud's gonna be throwing to are also mid. So someone's getting the rock, and that defense is gonna be trash. The offensive line's good, and I thought CJ Stroud's a pretty good player myself.
Why take Schultz over Chiggy though? Let's get Chiggy with it.
Oh no, man. for his 6 routes a game.
Oh, 6. Come on. They have not added.
Austin Hooper's not on the team anymore.
No Hooper.
Have you seen him? He looks so tiny, man. I looked at that. He was being interviewed, and I thought it was a wide receiver. He's so small. I'm not sure if he's going to see the field. I think Vrabel is going to be very mad.
Ball in his hands, man. I feel like where Albert O, like you watch back and you're like, okay, he got a 70-yard catch when 2 Eagles ran into each other and he just ran free. Like, oh, he got wide open, like left alone like a deep crosser. Like if you actually watch like Chig's highlights, like he earned those ridiculous numbers he put up far more than Albert O. So it's still a small sample. I get it. Look, where he's going, like I'm looking at right now, like I hear you. I haven't prioritized him. I'm taking Kendre Miller over him, Elijah Mitchell, several running backs for sure. But, he's going next to Schultz and Cole Kmet. It's not like we're making these great cases for them either. So,
yeah, I'm sure he's just not going to be on the field enough. Like if he's not going to be out there in some like the play action looks and all that.
Jonnu kind of played a good size role. That's the one, we have like 5 years of evidence.
He is Jonnu Smith. He is Jonnu Smith. The difference is that those Titans teams, when Jonnu Smith was the tight end 9 every week, something like that. That was when the Titans were like winning the entire AFC somehow. I'm a little less optimistic.
Gosh, I think you could argue last year's Titans wide receivers were better than this year's too. And I say that as someone who drafts Kyle Phillips in the last round.
Oh gosh, Josh and I did our video on the second year rookie or the last year's rookie wide receiver class. And I got to Kyle Phillips and like I watched like 15 plays. I was like, all right, this is just not going to work out for me.
He's a small little slot receiver.
I tried.
Oh, okay. They left. I didn't think anyone would leave Quentin Johnson over in that little range.
No, Daigle, chill, man. You already have 5 wide receivers.
What about Demont?
You already have 5 wide receivers.
What about Demont?
I mean, it was the same ADP.
He wasn't gonna make it to me anyway. It's
the same ADP.
I was imagining though. I had one guy in my queue and it was him.
So, Diego, what do you do in this spot? Are you going to draft 6 and be done? That's been something I'm doing. Are you going to wait for like round 15, 16 wide receivers or call it 7? Like, to me, this is where like there is a point of diminishing returns. And I think that we know that there's a point of diminishing returns at quarterback and at running back and at tight end. But for whatever reason, we pretend that there's not a point of diminishing returns when it comes to wide receivers and best ball and underdog. I think we've reached that point. So, like, to me, this would be like either 6 wide receiver build or really late 7 wide receivers later on. What are your kind of points with that?
To me, it's going to be late 7. Not that I'm confident in this group of 6, but we have used the ADP already, so I have to pretend as if I am right when I'm drafting. So I'll do 6, and then I'll probably look to add a 7th one, but if not, it's okay because I used the ADP already.
Yeah, I agree. That's probably the way to do it. I always look for like.
I like David Montgomery. That's why he's atop that list at ADP there. I like David Montgomery a lot still.
Dude, I think David Montgomery could be like this year's James Conner of 2021 or something weird like that.
Could be. That's a good take. Last year was Jamal, so it makes sense if it stays in the same offense. Actually, but the thing is, like, I'd be more confident in Montgomery, and it was funny. It worked out with Jamal last year, but like I thought he would have gotten the full-time role once Swift did go down, and he didn't. Like he was still kind of the same role, and Justin Jackson and Craig Reynolds were switching it up on him. But like Montgomery, the amount of money they're giving him, I would think if we do see Gibbs go down or something, he could get more of a 3-down role.
Oh yeah.
So hey, Hayden, James Cook versus Alvin Kamara here, or would you take out Charbonnet?
Give me another name.
Okay, that's what I was kind of thinking. I'm going to reach just a little bit on Zach Charbonnet.
Okay.
This is a tough zone. I don't like any of my picks in this kind of area usually.
I already had 4 wide receivers. I already got my quarterback. There's no other QBs that makes sense. So I need more running backs in this range. So I mean, it wasn't egregious. I took my 94 and he's usually 103. Who knows? By August, we get Pete mouthing off, oh my gosh, Charbonnet took the first running back rep in Thursday's practice. He could be up there.
I haven't done this enough, but I probably should, just looking at the wide receivers versus some of these gross skill position picks in this range. I wonder if like going 2 of like Anthony Richardson with Kirk Cousins in this range while everyone else goes to elite quarterback, if that could be a little something, because this is where it really dries up to me. And I know I'm going to get 100th overall value from Kirk Cousins. He's done like every single year, and he'll probably do it again.
3 straight exactly QB 12 per game finishes. Crazy. It's the new DJ Moore going for what 1,204 yards and like 4 touchdowns. God, so no James Cook. It's not going to happen. It's just not going to happen.
Not on Underdog, I'm afraid. So it's not going to happen.
All right. Well, I don't want to wish an injury on anyone, but should something happen to Aaron Jones, AJ Dillon's going to take
He was still
on
there
over.
for you. You could have had him.
I know. I took Dillon over Cook. Great day to be great, some might say.
Well, maybe Cook will come back to me so I can avoid him too. That's fine.
Dude, it sucks though for him too. He literally, I know he was facing light boxes, but he was only behind Brees in yards per carry. He fumbled his first carry, and that's all everyone remembers, not the fact he never fumbled another touch the entire year. So I know Josh is going to Josh, and I'm not really into Damian Harris either, but like he's going to play as well. It is weird though that like, you know, what Damian Harris only got like $1 million or so as well. Like I know it's more guaranteed than Rashad Penny, but like some of these was it Devin Singletary, I think too. Like when those veterans got signed, I think we were just in a little bit of a free agency craze. Like none of those running backs got anything other than David Montgomery.
It's gonna make it very hard to kind of navigate the running back contracts because like does Damian Harris getting nothing, is that indicative of him or is that indicative of just the entire position? Like we used to be able to be like, oh, the other running backs were getting $9 million. Well, if no running backs getting $9 million, then what exactly are we doing there? A minimum's a minimum.
And it could be like, you know, Connor and Fournette, they got real small deals at first, and then they had their great year, and then they got those like $20 million deals that I know were less, you know, past all the hoodwinks, but
I think I'm looking at.
Look at Watson falling. Holy shit.
See, I like this running back tier. I would straight up rather have these running backs than like the tier above them.
Yeah.
Gosh, yeah. Watson is 82, and he's already at 105 right now. Good.
Dude, I would do it, Daigle.
Just get a different build. It's not going to happen that often.
Yeah, that's just super.
And Njoku's still around here. I don't have a tight end. No, he's not. Never mind.
I was going to take him last round.
We can do Donovan Peoples-Jones. I even think
Cedric Tillman
it's
too.
So like you can just do it. I mean, I'm not going to say. I'm not going to make a joke about doing Deshaun Watson like naked, but you definitely like could even right here.
What about Jerome Ford? What if we?
Why not?
Stack it very
100%.
uniquely.
100%. You can even do Harrison Bryant if David Njoku got hurt. I'm not sure if Harrison Bryant.
I don't know. They added Akins, Watson's former
dang.
friend. Dude, they gave him like 5.5, I think, over 2 years. Like it wasn't small. You got more than like legit running back money, which is just ridiculous to think about.
Wild. Yeah.
And Hayden, as you were saying, I don't mind this tier of running backs either, which again is kind of what's made me wait for my RB3 a lot of time.
Dude, these Washington running backs are still priced like before the draft, and we assumed they were going to like add someone serious. And then like one interview, Bieniemy or whoever was like, yeah, we thought Chris Rodriguez is a 3rd round talent. It's like, come on, man. So, dude, I think Gibson and McKissick still being a free. God damn it, they re-signed McKissick in like August somehow. We don't know if he's going to play football. I cannot find a thing.
Done. Yeah,
I think he's done too. But that's why I'm drafting so much, especially Gibson. But I'm fine with Robinson too, man. They love him, and to be fair, like he did get better as the year went on, which kind of makes sense when you're recovering from a freaking gunshot wound. So I'm down with both of them, man. Even like safe space guys, like a little bit of Sam Howell. I don't know. Out of all those quarterbacks back there, like he would be the fantasy friendly one if they do work out.
I'm looking up. Okay, let's just go P Ryan then.
Yeah, I've been going P Ryan over Robinson usually too.
I've still been going Antonio Gibson a little bit, as you mentioned at the end. Like, it's fine. Whatever.
Have you guys drafted Devontae a single time? I haven't.
No, not yet. I don't have the courage at this point in my life.
Yeah. I'm still not drafting Breece Hall. I don't know if I'm right or wrong, but I kind of just would rather play a blanket statement right now. I don't want him at that ADP.
I've started getting him a couple times, but when he was going to RB6 and everyone's on Twitter like, do not fade this man because he's come back from an injury. It's like, no one is fading this man. Have you seen the ADP? Rashad Penny, someone like, I don't know. I'll take like every 5th or 6th draft. Yeah,
I'm in on Penny.
Especially now that disparity with him and Swift has grown. Like, my goodness.
Yeah.
People are just like, oh, Swift's like the more talented back. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think the NFL thinks that. I think Penny fits better in the Miles Sanders role, and I think that DeAndre Swift's fancy Kenny Gainwell, and only one of those roles matters.
And that's another thing with the rankings thing. Like, I firmly think Penny's going to outproduce Swift this year. So like, I ranked him one spot ahead. I understand though, if you're playing the ADP side of it, how that goes. I was hoping to get 2 of them, but that's okay. Dalton Kincaid, Davis Maddox, worst pick in the entire draft you could possibly make.
There's no need to call it. Yeah. I mean, it's Davis being hyperbole.
It's okay. I love Davis. I'm just saying.
Especially because, again, like, even if I think Schultz outproduces Kincaid, like, of course Kincaid has the higher ceiling. Like, of course he does. He can run without looking like a fucking pontoon boat. Like, of course he's the best.
Got me some Jonathan Mingo instead.
Oh, baby.
Actually, popped in every year I do this 5-tool wide receiver study looking at just who has like route running, speed, height, weight, like after, ability after the catch, and I forget the 5th tool, but there's another one there. And I remember the only guy that really only checked all of them, because all the wide receivers have been so small recently, like that kills like half my list like immediately. Kyle Pitts was the only guy that truly checked every single box, and we'll see how that goes with obviously Daigle's thoughts on the matter. But this year, Mingo, I think Rashee Rice, the Princeton dude was really close as well. Like, I know he went 6th round and shit, but hey man, again, hasn't gotten me huge hits in the past, but I remember Nico Collins and Donovan Peoples-Jones were 2 guys that kind of lit up as well. I mean, I've seen some. Again, I'm not quite into the draft weeds as other people, but they're like, how can you unearth like Mingo? Like, I think there's some reasons.
Dude, yeah, watch a highlight reel of him. He looks like an absolute stud
against amazing defenses.
Why does anyone say, how on earth can you like Mingo?
Because he was saved for all 4 years. Like,
who cares?
I don't know, man.
That's
like
fine.
To me, all that is so priced in. Like, to me, it's like almost just fade the 4-year players and all that type of stuff. We're almost at the point. I love analytics. We're almost to the point where you should just be fading analytics right now, because all of it is priced in here.
I love it. Okay, how are we gonna fix this team?
Nico, I thought would get higher. He still might. That's like Roshan.
Maybe Kenny Pickett could not be completely shit this year. How about that,
dude?
That'd be helpful.
Man, it sucks, but I think Pickett and Stafford are going to be like 2 of my highest rostered quarterbacks.
Same.
Not QB1s, but like as my backup quarterbacks. Like, it makes so much sense.
We got the Allen Robinson round 18 gem. I did that today.
Yeah, I'm with you with Kenny Pickett and Stafford. Like, I gobble those guys up. I've been drafting a lot of Van Jefferson. I've been drafting some Higbee, so I like the Stafford call, and then I like Stroud and Bryce, because all those 4 teams you can stack from like round 8 on. Yeah, so it's just secondary stack. Why not?
Oh, I just looked this up the other day. It was the cheapest QB1, wide receiver 1, wide receiver 2 stacks, just based on the ADP, not who I think are the actual 1s and 2s on the squad. Where the fuck is it?
Patriots got to be last, right?
Hold on, let me get it.
While you're looking that up, this is also what I wrote in my quarterback tiers. 1,262 quarterbacks have attempted 300 passes in the Super Bowl era, and Kenny Pickett's touchdown rate was 1,253rd.
Yeah.
That is insane.
Yeah.
No, you're right.
Cannot hold up.
That's true. That's another way of looking at it. But I remember looking at like the quarterbacks. It was like the comp list of quarterbacks who had started at least 10 games and like not thrown for 10 touchdowns. And it was absolutely miserable. But okay, cheapest stacks. Top one was actually Texans with Stroud, Nico, and Mechie. Then the Titans, Levis, who's now going ahead of Tannehill, Levis Burks, and 1L Phillips. Then the Patriots, Mac. I guess Juju's pulling them up just a little bit. Mac, Juju, and Thornton. 49ers, which was interesting, even though Debo and Ayuk are up there, like the quarterbacks are just so cheap. Falcons were right there, but, obviously you actually want Kyle Pitts instead of Mac Hollins. Then the Panthers, and then also the Giants, which is just a crazy one because it's so hard to wrap your head around like which wide receivers to freaking take there, which I think the answer is just Darren Waller.
Darren Waller.
Yeah. I drafted Tyler Higbee. That's why I said that.
I'll still mix in some Jalen Hyatt and robust wide receiver builds because like he's the kind of player where you're never going to even start or probably draft and redraft. But in best ball, let's get those couple of 60-yard touchdowns.
Absolutely.
I like Hodgins and Slayton to be on the field as well as Hyde. I think it's Wandale's going to be a redshirt year, and I think once you do that, I'm assuming Sterling Shepard, they're going to ease him out of the rotation. But yeah, I don't think anyone should be confident in any of those guys.
Hayden, in your opinion, should I take Stafford here? I already have Kupp and Higbee. His ADP is 157. My next pick is at 167. I'm drafting 147.
Yeah, I would just do it.
Yeah, it's close enough. 10 picks past ADP. He could fall, and I have seen, especially like earlier on, like the fact I have Kupp and Higbee, I think is a better chance that people won't go out of their way for Stafford. But then again, he is such a late value that he's just like perfect for these teams that don't have many quarterbacks. But I found that with when I've gotten the Tyreek Waddle start and then the Chase and Higgins sometimes, like guess what? Burrow and Tua are going to fall in those instances.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Also, I mean, Stafford was underdog drafters are sharper, so it's not like a home league where Stafford's going to be left for dead. Yeah. But people are still out on it because of recency bias on Stafford. Like they just don't want a part of him.
Which is wild. Yeah. And dude, I mean, look, we got to do what we got to do stack wise with kind of the middle round quarterbacks here and stuff. But like once you get into your home redraft leagues, like, okay, if one of the ballers falls at the top, like great, go ahead and scoop them up. But otherwise just wait and get like Stafford or one of these guys. Russ has a real nice first 4 weeks of the year. I bet he's going to be someone that even has a lower home ADP as well. Like, this is a nice year, I think, to go super late round redraft. If you don't get one of the top guys.
Speaking of this room is wild. Like I misplayed my hand in drafting Jalen Hurts. Like Russ is here at 131. It's 154.
Sheesh. Yeah, and you already got such a value on Watson.
I misplayed my hand. This is the.
I mean, you have AJ being Hurts. It's okay.
Stacked it. Yeah, and we got Nico late too, so it's not.
I got to go Nico here, right, Hayden? Like,
yeah,
it's 154. He's 139,
and then I think we can be done at.
We're definitely done with this. I'm fine with this.
Yeah, I've been drafting.
What got pushed up in this room?
Probably the receivers, I'd guess.
Running backs, receivers were about right on par, but running backs got pushed up. Yeah. What a wild room. Okay. I haven't seen that before. Usually quarterbacks are salivated over.
Jalen Warren, the best pick in all fantasy football. Is that what we're saying?
Dude, I like Tyler Algier. Like we just saw it with him. Like if he's the guy, if Bijan goes down, man, Tyler Algier is going to ball.
I feel like there's a small chance that Warren could actually carve something out. Maybe I'm crazy. Maybe I'm just completely disrespecting Najee, but like he got concussed towards the end of last year. We never saw a game without Najee, but like I really do think Warren would get like a 90% snap rate if Najee gets hurt. So Algier is finally fine. It was taking him a while to like come down, so I was really staying off him. But I think where he's going now, it's fine. He was just like still kind of with those like Washington running backs and Dillon and those types. So I'm out there, but yeah, it's a pure handcuff. I think that plays. What about Tank Bigsby? Are we cool with that? Guys named Tank. I mean, come on.
Easy game. I'm with it.
We are 100% down with Tank Bigsby.
Bully Tank. Go ahead and grab a Bell later.
We're good with Tank, even though I have no tight ends. We're just going to stack 3 or 4 tight ends, right, Hayden?
Yeah.
Because Gerald Everett's the only one I see, but I don't want to. Yeah, I don't want to have an opinion on any tight end after tight end 5. I don't care.
I agree.
Thanks for
and then I'll probably add
player that time.
I'll probably go 3 tight ends, and then we'll see about that last spot for a running back. But right now, I think we're good.
Who are you looking at late? It'd be Jelani.
What bums are left? We'll see if Dawson Knox continues to fall. Mike Gesicki, I take.
If there ever was a handcuff tight end, it's Isaiah Likely.
Cade Otton, Jelani Woods, yes. Trey McBride's in there.
Otton.
Dude, I do take Cade Otton. Jelani Woods, Trey McBride, who is worse than Cade Otton, but like Cade Otton, he's going to be on the field every single snap. I like Adam Troutman.
You think what's his name? Geno's QB coach is their new OC. I think he could switch it up. Cade's so mid. His name's Cade Otton, dude.
I'll take a Noah Fant too.
Yes, I like Noah Fant. You got me back there, dude. Like Will Dissly, Is he out there OTAs or something? Because like I remember Pete Carroll was like being nice about the injury because he's always nice about the injuries and he's Pete Carroll, but like he was saying like how complicated it was and stuff. Like that's not exactly what you want to hear with this. And I don't know, even if Noah Fant does only get 75, 80 targets, like we love that Seahawks offense. And you know, he's pretty much the cheapest guy that has a chance to be pretty freaking involved.
I've been drafting Ferguson, Musgrave, Laporta, Hunter Henry. Dude, Hunter Henry's the second highest paid tight end in the entire league.
I take him over Gesicki easily, straight up.
Tight end 2 in salary 2.
That's crazy.
The 34 in best ball 2.
Yeah, that whole thing.
I also take, for better or worse, Hunter Henry later on too.
Hell yeah, you have to.
Come on, just leave me warned.
Oh, I didn't even see Fantasy Football Garage popped in a little bit ago.
Leave me warned. 21 picks past ADP. Let's go! Oh my god, I'm killing this draft.
All right, how does this change things? Andy Reid said that Noah Gray is going to handle some fullback in addition to tight end. Or we might get some more goal line usage. He's the Isaiah Likely nobody drafts.
Why'd you take the stream down, Diggle?
I don't think I did, right?
No, it's not sharing. It's our pretty faces right now.
Oh, sorry.
You good? I just wanted to, steal your picks more. So
yeah, I was telling you, like, what do you mean? All right. Yeah, I'm getting ready to gear up. Oh, let a little Dawson Knox fall. I'll gladly take that bum. Let's do this.
Sheesh.
Hayden Hurst got paid well. He'll be out there all the time.
Will he?
He will. I'm not sure if he's going to do anything, but he'll be out there. That's for sure.
The same GM drafted Tremble, and yeah, I know. And we got right there. You know how he treats the Colts tight ends. I don't think he's gonna be out there every snap. I'm not, but look, he's going round 17, 18. I'm not saying it couldn't happen. He did get paid nicely, but man, I send that same tweet every March and just update it. Like it's gonna be like a Kobe Fleener type of thing. I don't know. Like it sounds these tight ends that get paid a good amount and change teams, like it has never worked out. Oh, the one time it worked out was Ebron with the Colts when he had that 14, 15 touchdown year. So if you think Bryce is going to be Andrew Luck this year, go for it.
That was like the most foreseeable double-digit touchdown year too. And then of course the most foreseeable, you cannot draft this guy afterwards.
Eric Ebron has one of my favorite stats ever. It's his career rushing line. Let me get what it is. He has 5 career carries for -6 rushing yards and 3 touchdowns.
That's amazing.
It makes absolutely no sense. I think he got taken back for like 9 or 10 yards one time. It just
was all those rushing touchdowns with the Colts too under Frank Reich?
Probably, dude.
Yeah.
God,
they used him on the goal line so much, man.
Dude, he was always open, big. He just dropped too many passes eventually. But some years he'd catch enough of them. 1 touchdown, 5 touchdowns, 1, 4, 13, 3, 5, 1. And he had one rushing touchdown with the Lions and Steelers in addition to the Colts. Teams just needing to get the ball into Eric Ebron's hands at the 1 yard line.
That's wild.
All right.
Ooh, another name that's just gross but paid well and like his numbers line up to where his ADP is Tyler Conklin. Now that assumes that Aaron Rodgers isn't going to like absolutely fall in love with Mercedes Lewis or something like that, but he's paid well, and his numbers, like, what did he have last year? Like probably 500 yards and 4 touchdowns, something like that.
He's one of only like 9 tight ends with, I think, 50 catches and 500 yards in each of the past
as you know,
50
Hayden,
years.
What I think you really meant was that Deshaun Watson plays Tyler Conklin in week 17. Is what you really
meant. Boy, time to leave.
All right. Let's start this reign of terror on tight ends.
Is it going to be a 4-piece? Is it going to be a 4-piece?
I mean, it's already Knox and Conklin. It has to, right?
Yeah,
it has to be a 4-piece.
Oh yeah, I love this.
Let's mess around and find out. Let's see what happens here.
So who are our running backs? Our receivers and quarterback is amazing. Right. So what are we dealing with here?
This is what we're looking at running back. Najee Harris, Samaji, Jamal, Roshan, and Tank Bigsby. We need
pretty bad.
We need some historical rookie performances,
to say the least. Man,
I am excited about Roshan.
It may not happen. What are you taking Tim Patrick from me for? You fucking doob.
Marquez Callaway is right there for you.
Oh my God. That hurt, man. I love drafting Tim Patrick. Took way too much from him last year, that's for sure.
So Hayden, we're either going 3 tight ends with Knox and Conklin already at 2, or 6 running backs.
Man, do we like? Yeah, who's been like? I'll mess with Travion.
These
I'll
are
mess
the
with
big
Malik.
3. Yeah,
Is Malik?
these are the ones that I always take.
Diego, where are you at with Malik Davis? Not worth it or what?
I really haven't even put thought into it. Like,
God.
you don't think it's going to be Deuce Vaughn just because
No.
he's 5'5"?
I mean,
he's wearing 42. Come on.
He was
drafted
working out
him.
with Micah and Jamar Chase.
I don't care. His dad drafted him. If Diego, answer me this: if his dad wasn't a scout for the Cowboys, was he drafted by the Cowboys?
Probably not.
Exactly.
Probably not.
His dad got him picked. This is come on. This is outrageous.
Dude, Micah was blowing Jamar Chase out of the water.
Dude,
on those little sprint drills. By the way.
Micah's scary,
He's
man.
so good.
Wow.
He's a freak, man. He's so good.
He said he put on more weight too, which is just terrifying.
Yeah. What a monster.
He's not really self-aware on Twitter, but he is aware of like his business. Like he knows what edges get paid. He understands what he's supposed to do and how he's negotiating.
Mm-hmm.
He's hilarious. He's wearing a different jersey every freaking week.
Dude. And he's cheering for like the Eagles. Like he pisses me off.
He was do you see when they drafted Mozzie or whatever? And he was like hanging out with AJ Brown on some, I don't know what the hell they were doing. I think they were, I don't know who the hell was putting that on, but yeah, he like showed his text to Dan Quinn before stopping those QB sneaks finally. Diego, what do you think of that pick as a Cowboys fan?
I think that pick was decided against the Packers in week 10, whenever the Packers ran down their throats and averaged over 5 yards per carry on 40 carries and took Micah out of the game. I think that's when the Cowboys decided, oh, yeah, we have to have someone to stop the run.
Do you think they would have taken Kincaid if the Bills hadn't traded up?
No. I've talked to several people that say he wasn't on the list. It was actually Cyrus O'Torrence.
People inside the organization.
It was actually Cyrus O'Torrence who was on their board. That was the next guy they were going to take. The Kincaid is like a good story everyone does, but that wasn't where they were going.
Jerome, we gotta get some correlation, right? Or otherwise we'll get roasted.
What are you talking about? We got Tank Big B and Roshan. Okay. This is obviously has to be a tight end.
Okay. I can sell you on Musgrave. I can sell you on Hunter Henry. The rest is your boys. Also, Trey McBride, if he's available. Oh, he just went. Never mind.
Yeah, Trey McBride's already up. Always up there.
Or if you want to get really crazy and just go Noah Gray and Travis Kelce tears his ACL week 1. Now you have a tight end 1, and the rest of these guys don't look as embarrassing. That's if you want to go full Galaxy Brain for all the money.
I kind of prefer. Gosh.
We need somebody to actually break out because Conklin's not going to actually break out, and Dawson Knox isn't either. So like, we need somebody that's like, who's going to be this year's Dalton Schultz, something like that.
I guess in this case we do go. I mean, Musgrave, there's no chance. He's exciting, but there's just no chance.
Why not? Why isn't there not a chance? Early second-round pick, highly athletic, a receiving type, big enough to stay on the field, competing with another rookie, and all the other guys on the Packers stink.
Gosh, I'm going against historical splits here.
Oh, it's fine. We need him for a couple weeks down the stretch.
All right. We'll go Musgrave. Knox, Conklin, Musgrave. What could go wrong?
Hey, I guess Knox early in the season while Dalton Schultz struggles as a rookie. And then we get Luke Musgrave coming on in the last part of the season. Not bad. How about that for correlation?
We save 5 spots of ADP on Knox. That's all that matters here.
Mm-hmm.
And again, I think that just highlights the opportunity cost of a quarterback inside those first 20 picks. Like, I never like the teams when I do it.
Do you like the mid-range quarterbacks or like completely punt it off?
I'm fine with mid-range. I'm fine assuming that as only the 10th, 11th, and 12th quarterbacks of the last decade to average over 24 points per game last year, Hurts, Mahomes, and Allen, I'm fine thinking actually those are outlier performances and the big 3 quarterbacks sync back to the rest of the quarterbacks.
That's what it'll take.
Also,
My
4 of those
team is
12
still good,
performances,
guys.
4 of those 12 performances came during the pandemic when football, like the rest swallowed the whistle and football was fun again.
That was awesome.
Like
Not
every
the
player
pandemic,
averaged
but
27
football.
points during the pandemic.
It skewed everything. I feel like the defense can like feed off the crowd a lot easier too. Just something that you had to play to know.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and
What-
Noah Fant. Oh.
Who's this going to be? Noah? Yeah.
Yeah, of course. Sure.
Yeah, I already got Jalen Warren and Deontay too. MBD.
Wow.
Look at you understanding week 17. Good job.
And I had to finally just. It was like I forget what movie it is, but this one guy's like he plays the trumpet really well. And they're like, man, I didn't know you played that. He's like, yeah, I had to learn this in high school so I can make fun of all the band nerds. Like that's how I feel with the. I had to learn these schedules just so I could make fun of you guys for it.
You need to find that clip and put it on Twitter.
That was good.
Yeah.
Sure, it's on YouTube somewhere.
I forget what movie it is from. Fuck, it was a comedy. I'll figure it out.
Yeah, Sam Howell still going to the 17th round. That's okay. Brock Purdy still going to the 17th round.
Yeah, but he's also Brock Purdy.
Yeah. I don't know how much of the reports to believe. Also, the fact that he had a higher touchdown rate than the MVP of the league last year. Like, it's probably gonna drop back a little bit.
Yeah, how Nick Mullins is he? Is he CJ Beathard or Mullins here? That's the question.
All right, let me pull up these results really quick. We'll have you review your team, Ian.
This is a good break. I was Dale hit me up today. You probably told me before I was gonna be on this, but I didn't realize it. So I couldn't get my Underdog cardio club in, but I'm feeling good about the team. So I'll have to get that back in. Already 4 down, boys. Absolutely crushing it.
Wow, let's go.
Good job.
I'm doing that. My fiance told me about it, like a TikTok thing. It was you put it 12, 3:30, you put your incline to treadmill on 12. You go speed 3, which is like a fast walk, and you do it for 30 minutes. And I was like, okay, if she's doing this, I gotta, so I went 15, 3:30. I've been doing that. Dude, that burns like I feel kind of like a bitch for walking, but then like I look down after 30 minutes and it's like 350 calories off, and I'm like, I jogged 3 miles and it's like only getting me to the mid 100s. So fuck it.
I haven't done the cardio club yet. I did it last year, but I also just ran 30 miles. So let's see how
You should have.
quickly.
You couldn't have done one during that, Johnny. Come on, man.
I mean,
you get the money back with 7. It's
Your
just an
focus
investment.
is on trying to survive, not the cardio club. I promise you.
I saw the end of your that video you handing off to Chris. Finally,
That was
man.
gold. I love that.
Was
I didn't
awesome.
walk. I didn't walk once. I made it that whole 30
Wow.
9:55 pace for 30 miles. I feel like that's an amazing pace.
Dude,
for 30
that's
miles.
insane.
Yeah,
Wow.
dude, I
Congrats to
fucking-
you, man. That's
yeah.
wild.
Oh, I'm sore. Don't get me
Oh,
wrong,
I-
boys.
oh,
I'm
I
hurting
bet.
today. But yeah,
man.
that was the
Wow.
goal. Anyways, though, Ian, enough about my accomplishments. Your team
Jesus.
in this draft, and I think you at least started really, 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 really strong. It's a
We
good team.
got Cup, Chubb, Jacobs, Keenan, Herbie in the first 5. We were also able to take that Keenan Herbert stack. While I couldn't quite get Quentin, I did get Gerald Everett later. Got Stafford and Higbee to add to Cooper Cup. And oh my God, is that Isaiah Hodgins week 17 correlation? It is. I was actually thinking about taking a KJ Hamler last round, but he might not.
No.
Make the team. Yeah,
He might be done.
I was feeling myself a little too much, so I didn't do that. I would have liked to get Tim Patrick or someone instead of Nathaniel Dell, but Tank Dell, excuse me. But it's okay. And then love my Jalen Warren, AJ Dillon, Zach Charbonnet, Brian Robinson on top of the Chubb and Jacobs early. We're fucking loaded, boys. I even got the again Deontay, Warren, and then the who the fuck did the Steelers play? See, I can't even remember all the correlations I got going. The Noah Fant edition, the Noah Fant Deontay Warren,
Yes,
week
that was
18,
it, yeah.
week 17
Can't Warren.
stack.
If those
That
guys are the
would be-
guys you need, that game's 13-6.
But yeah, we're feeling good.
and 4 receivers by round 7. 2 running backs early on. This is a pretty sound team. This is a good team.
That's a squad right there.
This
That's
is a
what I
good
was saying
squad,
before.
yeah.
Like when you can get, honestly, I usually like even having 5 wide receivers by 8 or 9. This one worked out. I was able to get Deontay and Burks, who I really like in that range. Sometimes when I can't quite get one of them, then I feel like I need a 5th. But to Hayden's point, man, like I just try to get those 4 or 5 there. And then, I mean, I took Mingo kind of like fell. And I didn't like the other guys, but otherwise, like I'll throw a couple more darts in round 16 on, but I'm done otherwise.
Yeah, the best way to get value actually from the wide receivers early on is to stop drafting them. Like actually use all their points. Like if you just close your eyes and pretend that Deontay and Traylon Burks are both wide receiver 2s this year, like do you need a 5th wide receiver? Probably not. Like you're like it would be nice, but I think going back to the other positions makes some sense.
And we tag team the end with AJ Brown, and then I felt obligated to take Jalen Hurts at 15, where I'll probably start tinkering around with AJ Brown and then instead going like a Moan Bra or Garrett Wilson instead of Jalen Hurts, just to see what happens here a little bit, to help a team out later on. Najee is RB1 and then went on the wide receiver tear. And Watson, only because he dipped 20 spots below ADP, which was insane. Started rounding out running back and realized, oh God, that's too late to round out running back. Nico was 15 spots behind ADP, continued rounding out running back, added to the Brown stack with Deshaun Watson, Jerome Ford. What could go wrong? And then 3 late tight ends where we cross our fingers and hope they do anything. So lessons were learned. That's what I say.
I was just thinking about this with AJ Brown, the second round. A lot of the people drafting AJ Brown round 1 are 0 running back guys, so they're not going to draft a running back, or they're going to stack them with Jalen Hurts. How often is an AJ Brown team drafting a running back right in the second round, like Jonathan Taylor, any of them? Like which galaxy brainer is doing that? Every single AJ Brown team is going to be with another wide receiver or with Jalen Hurts. It could be just unique just to draft him with Nick Chubb.
Do you think it's too early in the offseason to be doing that though, Hayden? Because like I feel like it still could mix up a little bit. I hear you, and I remember like you've preached this for at least last offseason too, like just getting wonky with kind of your combinations in the first 3 rounds because it might not exist there. I wonder how much of that is like there's so few people even drafting right now that I don't want to go too galaxy brain just yet.
I agree. It's as you get closer to the end of the tournament, then you can start really doing with it. But like in the poodle, for example, right now, like this would be the time to do that. And I think that was more of just like the type of drafters. Like there's like ownership overlap based off of like what type of, like if you went like wide receiver, like, and then 4 running backs in a row, like there is no other person kind of thinking like that. So something to think about at least.
That's very true. Just attacking that running back range that no one's getting after because they aren't terrible in that range, but you just gotta. I guess if you start off with the 3 wide receivers, smart man here.
Right.
Ian, what else do you have coming out for everyone at Fantasy Life?
Fantasy Life, just living the life, man. Yeah, check out the newsletter. I am in the thick of team preview season. I think I'm 12 or 14 done, so almost halfway. Keeping on. Love doing this, during the kind of May and June months, and then we'll be ready to get in the more sleepers, best values, and all that in July when folks are really getting after it. But yeah, doing one of these streams usually on Wednesdays myself, 4 p.m. having some industry guests on Fridays. I'm sure I'll be talking to both of you very soon about that. But great time, boys.
Hayden, what do you have up for everyone currently?
We're almost at 50,000 subs on the old YouTube channel. So that's the goal for the next week or 2 before Josh leaves. We're going to do our sophomore wide receivers. We put a bunch of tape, went through some of the data and came up with some conclusions. Jahan Dotson, very good tape. That's all I'm going to say.
Oh, yeah.
Looking forward to that. My best ball tiers began running on the site for everyone, beginning with quarterbacks on the homepage as we speak. So until then, we will be back.
Real quick on Dotson, man. Hayden, I did the same thing last year where I had McLaurin ranked too high, and I went back and I watched his tape, and I was like, come on, let's be realistic. And I moved him up. I was like, this guy is just so good at football. Like, Christ, I need it. Same thing with Dotson. Holy shit, dude.
Dude, he is such a good route runner, and it wasn't even the position he played in college. They didn't scheme him up basically any touches. If they want to move on from Curtis Samuel in any way, Jahan Dotson, I know, can do the schemed up stuff. But even last year, man, it would just be on the outside, double moves, winning contested, running real routes. Like, to me, it was super impressive because it was not exactly what I was projecting him to do as a prospect. He's done the hard part. And now give him some of the easy stuff, and we can start seeing his numbers go crazy.
Until next week, when we have another guest on, draft Jahan Dotson and Sam Howell. Be a little bit kinder than what's required. We'll see you next time.